while others showing up, I'll just play something. I just wanted to play this for two reasons. I knew that people would be kind of bored and not in the greatest mood to listen. So cheer you up, as well as to show that what do you think about this. This Sri Lankan JACKAL. This is like to me very different from what I heard from James' presentations. That's the English power that we were talking about. You all know that, but I think it's slightly different. Right. So what I'm going to do, I'll just tell a few things that UTHPALA didn't mention about my school here at the University of Colombo, in Colombo, the capital of Sri Lanka. It is the oldest university in Sri Lanka, over like 100 years now, and also it is a very large university with 40,000 learning units, I think the students, and my lab is located in the University of Colombo. It's multi-ecology and evolution lab. I'm a partnership for Asian Sciences and Conservation. We have a research station in the mountains and in the coast in the north, in Mana, we are the closest point to India, as well as we have a forest. Actually, we we have our own private research forest for our lab, like in the mountains. In that forest, we have these guys. We have these guys, and I'm showing that part to kind of show out. Like, this is our research forest of the lab. And we have 3 leopards, 2 males and 1 female. This is that forest. I'll get the laser pointer. So this is that forest, this area. And also, I want to show you that I showed the leopard for a reason. I'll come back to it. And also, this is once upon a time, about a year ago, a crazy Greek was there, and nobody paid much attention to Jacob, so he paid a lot of attention, and so he got all kinds of footages and all, and he shared those with us. This is one of them. I'm again showing this for a reason. The elephants are there, and that's a jackal. Unfortunately, the noise is voice audio is not working for some reason for that particular footage. They made a really harsh noise. Like we saw all these partnerships of dog, shepherd dogs, and wolves and jackals. But normally, this is the reaction of leopards. Leopards eat jackals. Elephants don't like jackals. So even in other close related canids like Joel in India, they have elephants, and elephants don't like them, and so on. You agree with me, right? No, that's the case, right? Yeah, in India. So yeah, so it's so anyway, so as UTHPALA said this morning, jackal is isolated in Sri Lanka. No, before that, okay. Sri Lanka is a 65,500 square kilometer island. It has 22 million people, and but 20% of Sri Lanka's land is protected. No hunting, no agriculture, no even to enter into those 20%, you need a like ticket or a permit. So it's a human excluded zone for protection of either water or land or most of wildlife. And in Sri Lanka, these are those areas. So these orange patches are the protected area network. These are all protected, no human activity allowed other than permitted activities. Sometimes there are fishing or tourism, that sort of very limited activities are allowed. There are 5,000 Asian elephants, which is arguably subspecies endemic to Sri Lanka, 1,000 Sri Lankan leopards endemic to Sri Lanka, subspecies is endemic. The largest leopards because it releases that ecological pressure of tiger and lion. They are in the presence of lion in Africa, leopards are arboreal, they can't compete with them. In Asia, tiger is the dominant predator, so the leopards are arboreal again, but Sri Lanka doesn't have any of them. So they are on the ground, they are bigger, they are different subspecies, and they are the prime predator. And then we have the sloth bear, which is more of a herbivore. So it doesn't really come into this picture. As earlier said, we have two smaller cats, fishing cat in the wet zone and jungle cat in the dry zone. They're slightly smaller than the jackal, but they fall within the food mesh, the food gill jackal. And then Sri Lanka is considered the big game destination outside Africa by National Geographic or some other
green states also represent.
That's a wet zone. This is wet zone. It is one of the wettest places in the planet, about 2,500 to 5,000 meters of annual rain. Part of it is 100% humid throughout the year, humid zones. And the center is the mountains, and then the dry rural. And so anyway, so it's biodiversity rich, but the diversity of animals are low when it comes to mammals. Insects, frogs, minor phyla, very diverse because it has tropical rain. So this is how the mountains look like. This is Gondwanan mountain from Gondwanan supercontinent, moved with India to Asia and Laurasia about 50 million years ago and forms the Himalayas. So Sri Lanka has Gondwanan elements, especially the reptiles, amphibians, and lower phyla. Mammals is mostly Laurasia because they came from the north, and then the formation of Himalaya prevents further movement, and then came the Deccan eruption in India with Deccan furnace, which basically burns most of the lice in the central Indian peninsula in about 40 million years ago. And so a lot of things happened over the past 50 million years. And this is the mountains. It has elephants in the lowlands, pedigree everywhere. The leopard, I'm talking about leopard a little bit more just because it's part of the story. And 22 million people. so it's quite a complex place for any wildlife ecologist or biologist for that matter. So Sri Lankan jackal, as mentioned earlier, we are the southernmost edge of its distribution of the golden jackal, and probably the larger, the most definitive island population of the species. So because Sri Lanka is separated by a small land water strait called Fox Strait, about 28 kilometers across, but this one is separated completely. But every 30,000 year cycles, with the global glacial maxima, the water levels drop, then it connects with a thin sandy bridge to India, and when the glacial minima, the water levels go up and it floods. So this connecting and separating cycle like Bering Strait between Asia and Africa, North Africa, creates this very kind of vibrant mixing and isolation sessions, which shapes Sri Lankan biodiversity. It's a unique biodiversity, it's not a subject. So in that light, jackal. I'll quickly talk about jackal, a little bit of its taxonomy, and then move into the human interactions. This is K.A, not dated. This is considered a jackal. And then this is cave paintings, about 400-year-old painting where jackal is depicted here. It's a melanistic leopard and some other known animals and unknown ones. This is another wood panel of a book, again about 300 years old. Again, jackal is depicted here. This is associated. Dr. Jala earlier mentioned about some scripts, specifically mentioned certain stories in this case. Part of that, it's about jackal offering some food to
Why does it touch points?
Spots, I don't know. I think that the artist's depiction of it. But it has a specific story. Because of that, you know, it's dark. And then these.
That's maybe the artistic version of
the black and brown fur. Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, you would think it's a leopard, but the story has this character from that story, which is a. And this one is a very famous children's book talking about JACKAL as a very cunning mastermind, but try to fool everybody and get fooled by themselves. So this is a textbook in the children's standard curriculum. This is another very famous stage play. They are one of the main characters of JACKAL. Again, illustrated as a very cunning and slimy, artful individual, eventually get fooled by his own foolness.
It looks like because you don't have fox, actually.
Yeah, that's
the
fox.
You get the dark.
Exactly. So there's no fox is not in the vocabulary. The JACKAL is no fox. Yeah.
No other cane.
Yeah, no other cane. Yes. So JACKAL, yeah, I forgot to mention it. JACKAL is ecologically isolated in Sri Lanka. It's the only wild canine. Only other canine it exposes is the feral dog. It is exposed, and then it has the felix, 3 felix that it gives in the island. But we have the rusty spotted cat, the smallest felix in the planet, but it's not within its range in terms of ecology. So these both are in the curriculum. Children learn about JACKAL from these sort of stories. So kind of slimy, like artful and cunning animal. In Egypt, you know that this Anubis, for example, is a kind of a deity or god-like character that has a. So the JACKAL has a higher status, and this is from Sri Lanka. A photographer did. So like again, depicting as a very evil, very kind of bad animal. Our JACKAL is very dark, it's very greyish. Anyway, the taxonomy of Sri Lankan JACKAL is interesting. Like these, so it was earlier, you know, obviously, Linné had described it as JACKAL, and then it was subpopulation of Sri Lanka as a subspecies was described in early last century as Canis aureus lanke, and then it was Canis aureus naria, and there is a certain period it was considered as a full species in Sri Lanka as Canis lanke. And these are from the Bombay Natural History Museum's collection, where you can see this is the Canis aureus indicus, the JACKAL of the main Indian peninsula. This is Canis aureus naria, and this is Canis aureus lanke. The type specimen for this subspecies classification. You can see that it's smaller, it's darker, and it has a slightly different coloration. I just put this as a, like, you know, this is from the Bombay Natural History Museum's collection. So ours is slightly morphologically different, slightly smaller. You heard that it calls slightly different. So it's, I think it's a very interesting group. Let's move into the main context of this section, this and last session. They form small tags like what you see. This is in a national park. And so they live in varied habitats. They found in the estate sector in the mountains, not in the higher mountains, but in the estate sector, neighboring forest. And they found in the dry monsoon forests across the lowlands, and grasslands and shrublands in the drier part. So what we've done, so these are very preliminary. What we do, as I said, primarily ornithology person with 20 years of research on birds and others. Right? But this is a kind of a study that UTHPALA really pushed me to do that. But with JAYAWEERA, another member of our lab, so we done that. What to get a sense of this species. We know very good estimates of leopard, elephant, and most of the other wildlife, but that was never been censored census and never been studied in Sri Lanka. So what we've done, we try to collect data from field logs of the forest officers, interviews, site records, all possible ways from the island. Also, we have a social media platform that Chandika Jarabs is maintaining to get sightings. And then, so we get, in our questionnaire, we try to get background information of the person and the background of the informer, the jackal related information and human jackal interactions, and then we done some analysis, some are ongoing. So this is the kind of technical pattern of the distribution. There are few hotspots in the southern intermediate and lowlands of Sri Lanka, the main stronghold. Northern dry, like Vilpattu National Park, dry plains associated with water, called Villu areas, water swamp areas, are the other main stronghold. And in the central areas, this has been mostly dominated by slash and burn agriculture in this area. So it creates open areas suitable for cane across the globe. So, and also we saw marked decline. Our records show marked decline. Across the society, from farmers to wildlife officers to planters. What I mean by farmer and planters are the elite, like landowners or companies that has larger tea, rubber, coconut plantations. Farmers means the small landowners who has their agriculture mostly vegetable or cereal. And then vets, wildlife enthusiasts, photographers, they all agree that there's a marked decline in jackal across Sri Lanka. And they are like our, I'll come back to it in a second, our distribution map show that, that they are still common in the protected areas, that 20% that I was talking about earlier. And then the habitat is intact, they are there, but everywhere else from the cities, from outside, within the urban and suburban centers, they are gone, even in the agricultural region. So the question here is, the people suggest, I'll come back to it, disappearance of forests and plantations, gold fields, excessive use of agricultural pesticides and distemper being as the cause. So that is this. So people, when we ask, these are some of the like pie charts for some of the questions we asked and the answers. So like say no idea, no and yes kind of thing here, decrease in the population of jackal is so distant from people, most people need to much attention. But we can do this sort of broad surveys in Sri Lanka because there's no other wild Canis and everybody knows what a jackal is. And then is there a threat? Very few people say there's a threat. Only part of the all samples. This is like about 300 interviews. And then, so of the ones who said that there's threats, so these are the answers. So the deforestation and habitat loss seems like the primary thing people identified in their communities. These were from First Nations people to farmers to planters, all spectrum vets, wildlife officers, all spectrum of people we sampled. Basically anybody counting different occasionally different. And so the dogs, something that the appearance of more feral dogs making them disappear, fertilizer, this fertilizer means the pesticides. And then the diseases, I'll come back to it in a second. So the 54% of the respondents believe that the jackal populations are decreasing. Across, some has no answer. This is a preliminary one. We are working on an actual distribution map of this disappearance to showcase. And when it comes to interactions, do people afraid of jackals? Mostly no, they are not afraid of them. Do people consider it as a real threat to humans? Seems like no. So people don't hunt, as I said earlier, like no hunting in Sri Lanka. There is no legal hunting. There is some poaching for ungulate, but for carnivores, except leopard, targeted killings for body parts by sometimes internationally like driven underground sources. There's no hunting for jackal. So snow hunting, no real interaction, people don't consider it as a threat, so but it disappeared. We know that about our together, about 60% of the jackal numbers are gone over the past 10 to 20 years in Sri Lanka. So that's essential. So what's going on? And then the perception towards people. About 61% of them are neutral in terms of their. But these are not from like we didn't do that in the university from university community. We went into the education in the country and done it. It's not really we didn't do it across the country, but we went to all possible habitat types and all possible situations. And then, that gave us that list of possible causes as diseases, habitat degradation, pesticides, and let's see. This is the human population increase and the forest cover. So you can see that there's a marked decrease in forest cover and a marked increase in population, human population size in Sri Lanka from past 100 years. And these are some of the sections I mentioned. So there's a widespread clearing. Everywhere outside that 20% is kind of basically clear or clearing right now. Veterinary system, especially the Department of Wildlife Conservation, which is authority dealing with wildlife, consider distemper as the main cause for this potential disappearance because wildlife vets and general vets, when we interview, basically they say it's a cause of distemper problem. So they get jackals with distemper. At least they said they have at least confirmed cases every year. And this is a wild dog, like feral dog. The dogs completely living in the forest is not an uncommon sight in Sri Lanka. For example, this dog lives fairly away from village in this Vilpattu. You can see that it's very muscular, that it feeds on protein-rich diet. So the distemper could get jackals would get distemper from contaminated fecal matter, foraging on a dead carcass, contaminated carcass, or simply by a fight or some other contact from feral dogs. Feral dogs are very much a big problem in Sri Lanka. Rabies. There is some cases of rabies. Especially there was a big media issue, like a big fight on human jackal conflict 2 years ago, just after the first wave of COVID. And then there were 36 killing of jackals in a village, where 2 people were killed by rabid jackal and 5 cattle. So 5 cattle were bitten by jackals and they killed, they got rabies and they got killed. And then 2 humans killed in the same village, and retaliation killing led killing of 36 jackals. And the Department of Wildlife Conservation sampled all of them, and they, of that 32 had rabies positive. So, and that was kind of used as a case to build Sri Lanka has a human jackal conflict. But we've done interviews in this same community, and as well as in the parties involved. And the broad understanding is that it was just people understand that as a isolated issue, but the explanation from the government for that is that because of COVID, their anti-rabies campaign had been stalled for that particular year, so that led to increase of rabies occurrence of rabies in Sri Lanka in the feral dog population, and that leads to this particular incident. But after that, now again the rabies anti-rabies program is working after COVID, and we haven't had any of this sort of accelerated issue in Sri Lanka over the past 2 years. Something very different, talking about ecosystem services one thing about Sri Lanka, as I earlier mentioned in the talk, like people have some sense of ecosystem services, and we are having a huge problem with peafowl in Sri Lanka. Peafowl is people don't normally eat it, don't kill it because it's associated with the regional deity god. So people normally consume it. And peafowl numbers have been exploded over the past 10 years, and now it's becoming the #1 agricultural pest. There's a huge outcry by the farmers across the country to do something, because it's basically a vacuum cleaner. It eats seeds to buds, through germinating plants, everything. And the one explanation coming up right now in the discussion table is that the jackal is the main predator of the eggs and the chicks of peafowl. The disappearance of jackal might be the cause of population expansion of the peafowl. Adult peafowl don't have much predator pressure because they live in the trees at night and come to the daytime. Jackals considered as one of these. So this is a good opportunity to study further and also to get this gain a bit of a study technique. So the disappearance of it is an issue that bothers, I think, people like me who study biodiversity and wildlife. Based on our preliminary studies, what we think that the natural habitat is important. Disappearance of the natural habitat might be a cause for that. Disappearance of this Canis. Safe corridors is an important issue because plantation sector, plantations, especially the rubber and tea, act as the corridors. Wildlife breeders, roadkills, as you saw here, like I mean, we spent 3 nights here and 4 nights, and now we got 2 roadkills. So roadkills seems like a big issue everywhere, especially with dogs. I think they like dry ground, high ground, and they are also scavenging around the road of the roadkills, and they themselves become roadkills. So corridors might be a thing because road network is increased about 6-fold across planet, across the road, especially in Asia, across the landscape. Roads are becoming a big issue for biodiversity. Probably they are also suffering from it. Feral dogs, always a problem. Understanding better about distemper and its role in Asia, in our parts, might play a role. And awareness creation, especially journalists for sensitivity of reporting, because a jackal, I think the same in wolves here, like a wolf kill or a jackal kill is a big deal. A snake bite or a road accident of a person, you won't protest against vehicles, right? If a person died in the road. So anyway, and research. Phylogeny, I think, is called for a broader study on phylogeny of this Sri Lankan jackal. I think some stuff that needed to be done. All right, thank you very much.